Get on that Raider Nation. It's your boy Dub Raider. With me as always here is my brother from another mother, Chris from Protect the Shield podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Raider Nation's Weekly Wire. As always, we bring you, or try to bring you, the latest and best news from the Raider organization, from the Raider Nation, and from, of course, us both here. Chris, welcome to another episode. How you doing, my brother?
Good, man. I'm good. I'm excited. I know this isn't gonna come out to Sunday, but you know, getting ready to watch this preseason game, I'm hyped up, man.
Yes,
Hyped up.
yes.
A lot going on, whether it's good or bad. So you know, I'm always excited to chop it up with my boy Dub, man. So let's get it.
What's that saying? No news is good news, but any news is better news. You know, so having the team actually get out on the field, showing us what they've been practicing. Ooh, excuse me. You know, all these weeks of speculation and you know, innuendos and brief stories and everything that's been out there. Now we're actually gonna see it, you know, for real. You know, they're gonna be playing. They're gonna be doing their thing, and at the end of the day, it's Raider football.
Right.
So again, Raider Nation, we're excited because obviously today, like Chris mentioned, it's Thursday. You guys are going to be watching this Sunday. We're excited to watch that game coming up. So for this week's Weekly Wire, we have obviously the trading of Jakorian Bennett, Lonnie Johnson Jr.'s injury at the Raiders open practice. Talk about the open practice as well. Training camp news, stuff that we've heard, you know, rumors, whatever. And then we're also going to pay a little respect to Greg Papa, the old voice of the Oakland Raiders. So, Chris, let's start off with obviously the the big news, or the biggest news, which is, you know, the trading of Jakorian Bennett. You know, we this came as a shock to me. I thought, you know, we were going to try and do as minimal releasing of players as possible, being that, you know, we are in need. But what happened here? You know, I don't understand why the release or the trade.
Yeah, you know, honestly, you know, it's unfortunate. You know, the thing is, he started kind of going down the depth chart, and the funny thing is, you know, people act like it was just like a diminishing of skills, like he just got worse over the training camp. But in all reality, Pete Carroll has a certain type of corner that he likes, a certain build. He likes taller guys, long arms, that can run. And, you know, even though, you know, I mean, Jakorian, he's about like 5'11", 5'10", not really considered like a small corner, but, you know, just didn't fit what Pete Carroll usually likes in his corners. So he was kind of, you know, further down in the depth chart. I was still surprised that we traded him because, I mean, you know, Jakorian was our best cornerback last year, and he played pretty well actually before he got hurt. He was one of the top corners in the AFC as far as pass breakups and things like that. You know, he played well. He was developing. You know, he had a rough rookie year, but you know, he definitely took that sophomore leap where, you know, he showed that he can be a starter in the NFL. He was playing with a injured shoulder. I mean, he's been playing with an injured shoulder basically since his rookie year. The team is the one that kind of decided to have him, to shut him down last year, and have him get that surgery. He could have kept playing. But yeah, to me, it's, you know, I'm not happy about it, you know, to be quite honest. But at the end of the day, you know, Pete Carroll, you got to respect him. You know, he's known for his defenses and being able to develop guys. And I think just this is a missed opportunity for, you know, Jakorian to be able to be developed by someone like Pete Carroll. I think the Eagles got them a good one. You know, the Eagles front office, the Eagles GM, they're some of the best in the business. They've built that team to have sustainable success. And the thing is, you know, people talk about, oh, well, you know, he was third string with the Raiders, okay, that may be true. But again, remember, it's not because of his diminished skills. It's because of he doesn't have the measurables. But Jakorian Bennett is more than likely going to be a starting corner for the defending Super Bowl champs. So just keep that in mind. More than likely, he's going to play opposite of Quinyon Mitchell and be the starting corner for the defending Super Bowl champs. So he's good enough to play for them, but he's not good enough to play for the Raiders.
That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, I had heard in other avenues that the measurables, seem to be the culprit, or that's what everybody believes.
Yeah.
Because Pete Carroll likes, like you're mentioning, a particular size, particular height.
Yeah.
Now explain this to me. I understand obviously the height aspect, but is there really outside of having I guess maybe a longer reach, a higher jump, is it that much of a difference for a player of his stature to compete in comparison to what Pete's asking for?
When you're talking about measurables and all that, I mean, Jakorian is probably we'll say about 5'11", 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
Eric Stokes is 6 foot 6'1", so we're talking about a matter of a couple inches.
Right.
It's I don't know. It's not like Jakorian was like a Meek Roberts where he's like 5'8" or something like that. It is what it is. I mean, he likes what he likes. But the thing that gets me is, your new coaching staff. You can't always go by what you saw last year on film, but for me to think that our coaching staff watched film and studied film from last year and thought that Jakorian Richardson would be a better value and someone that could be a better option at corner than Jakorian Bennett based off of a couple inches, it's just wild to me. So, again, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can't, cry over spilt milk, but it's going to be tough, especially if Jakorian goes over there to the Eagles, and because again, he's still young. He's only making around $1 million, so he's cheap. Has a lot of upside. His shoulder is finally fully fixed. If he goes over to the Eagles and then helps them have one of the best young tandems in the league, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for sure.
Yes, definitely. But you know what, Chris? This is what we do.
The Raider way, baby. The Raider way.
It's what we do. We build them up, ship them out, and allow them to excel.
Yeah. And then a lot of people, they're going to try to, and one thing, about the Raider Nation that drives me nuts sometimes is, they once we do get rid of someone or someone's no longer with the Raiders, we tend to do this whole smear campaign thing.
Right.
So now everyone's just kind of like dogging him like he was just trash. But at the end of last year, everyone figured he was going to be our cornerback one. So, I just hate stuff like that. But on the flip side, we did get a defensive tackle. And now everyone is kind of overhyping this guy like he can be, a Pro Bowl for us. This guy, was pretty deep in the depth chart for the Eagles. So we just got to see what happens. At the end of the day, I'm trying my best to be as positive as possible. But we just gotta see. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's all we can do, man.
That's all we can do.
Again, not drinking that Kool-Aid anymore, Chris.
Nah, me either.
No, we're not following for that anymore. Now, let's see what this coaching staff has for us. Let's see what these players have for us.
Yeah.
And
show and prove, man. Show and prove.
Not fall into speculation, not fall into hearsay. The proof is in the pudding when they hit the field. And again, for us today, for the viewing audience, a few days ago, we're gonna see what happens.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Jakorian Bennett, thank you for your time. Big props to you. Of course, it's your career. You gotta do what's best for you, and I wish you the best of luck in the future, unless you're playing the Raiders.
For sure. For sure.
Our next topic, Lonnie Johnson Jr. He got injured at the open practice this past Saturday or a week ago. He actually ended up breaking his fibula at the practice. Have you heard anything about that, Chris? How long his recovery is going to be, if he's expected to come back this season?
Yeah, with that injury, it could have been a lot worse. Me personally, I'm not going to really, depend on him coming back and really playing any significant time for an injury like that. Get fully healed. I think from everything that I'm hearing, Patrick Graham and Pete are both pretty high on him, when they brought him over. So, I think that the thought is he's going to be part of the game plan in the future. So, it just watching that injury, it just kind of sucks.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's part of football. But I definitely was saddened by that because he was a guy that I know that could contribute. He has, he has some dog in him. So I hope that his, surgery, rehab, everything goes well because we're definitely going to need him, in the future. So salute to him.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of positive news of him during training camp. Yep. They've been speaking very highly of him. Coach has been speaking very highly of him, and then this happens.
Right.
And it's funny because I was listening to Q Myers' show, and they were talking about how after his injury, like, the players started acting way different. The way they were attacking the ball. Oh yeah. And even the fans, because everyone there was there with the sense of fun and entertainment, but that just kind of flipped the script so fast, man. Yeah. And it was so, and then to see something like that happen in a scrimmage game, something that does, it's not even a preseason game, it's a scrimmage game. Right. And right. It was very, very sad to see. Right. But I'm hoping that Lonnie Johnson gets well quick. And another thing I wanted to mention, when I saw that happen and I started hearing the news after the fact, my fear was like, man, I hope it's not another Wilkins situation where he's hurt and they're going to want to boot him. Yeah. Because it seems like collateral damage isn't being accepted in got no room for it. So, but again, hearing all this positivity about him, I'm hopeful that it's not going to occur. But Lonnie, get well quick. Raider Nation needs you. As far as his position, how's our depth? Are we good, or do you think we're going to start looking for replacements? Or
yeah, to be honest, I don't think we have good depth anywhere on our team. To be quite honest, of course, specifically on at the safety position. We got some guys that we drafted over the last couple years. Got the Trey Taylors, got the Chris Smith Jr. and we got some guys back there, but at the end of the day, right? Yeah, but no, I know they brought in Jamal Adams, but they're actually moving him to linebacker. So,
that's right.
So to be honest, I really don't feel comfortable with the depth we have. Even our starter Isaiah Palomar, he's he's still young, and this is really his second year, really his first year,
first full year.
Being a full-time starter. So we still don't even know what we have yet fully in him. So, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of growing pains this year. That's really it. I really do not like the depth that we have at any position this year.
Do you see any any players out there that could be a possible pickup for the Raiders to fill this position?
Yeah, I know they've been working some guys out. So hopefully, I mean, we'll probably hear pretty soon about some people that they bring in. I think they're going to have to address that at some point.
Right.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm sure. I'm definitely going to watch the secondary tonight. In the preseason game, see who's getting reps, who's doing well. During this time of year, people start getting cut. There may be some cap casualties on other teams that we may take a look at, so we might wait till some cuts happen. But I think we're going to have to address that safety depth at some point.
One of so many needs.
Right, for sure.
That's crazy. Well, let's move on to a little happier news, which is the open practice that the Raiders had this past weekend at Allegiant Stadium. That it was. I was fortunate to take my family to this one. Last year, I actually attended with Cheeto Linus.
Nice.
And that one was fun because it was just more about the boys.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase that before I get murdered when I go back inside the house. It was a different type of fun.
Got it.
Because this trip was a lot of fun as well. Because I was with my lovely family, but the first one was a different type of fun because it was Cheeto Linus, it was Turf, it was who else was with us? That's the first time I had met 805.
Okay.
What's his name? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, there was a lot of content creators, a lot of super fans. So it was a lot of fun interacting. This time it was more of a spectator, as just a conventional fan showing up to the stadium.
Yeah.
And it was really, really a lot of fun. And they set it up great. There was only, I think, seating in section 100 and 200, so
nice.
Which are the lower levels all around the stadium, and they had everything. They had the screens going, they had the cheerleaders, they had the music. The players came out for warm-ups. That was really cool, and then they went back in, and then when they actually came out, instead of coming out through the black hole side of the stadium, they came out through the club section, right up the middle. Fans got to high five them, kind of like what they do in Dallas.
Yeah,
that was a pretty cool experience. And from what I've been hearing, I think Pete Carroll wants to incorporate that during the season.
Yeah,
that way the players have that they get that feel of the fans being there and how excited they are, and kind of like, I guess, pumping them up more for the game. So that really was awesome. I unfortunately didn't get to see a lot of the plays per se, because having a 7-year-old next to me, hey daddy, who's that? Hey daddy, who's that? I'm hungry. I want to go to the restroom. So, but in general, I think it was a great event for the Raider Nation that can't attend a regular game. If they continue to do this, I highly recommend you guys go.
Yeah.
You'll get at least a portion of the experience that you would at a conventional game, but for only $5.
Yeah, can't beat that.
You cannot beat that. $5, and you have the food, you have the music, you have the Raider fans. It's definitely a great time.
A lot of excitement. What can Raider Nation and the fans expect heading into 2025?
Truly, there's no words that can be said. It's all about action. We're ready to show up and knock people in the fucking mouth. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Max Crosby.
Unfortunately for me, I decided to do a turnaround trip. We left Southern California at 6 a.m, got there around 10:30, parked, and then walked over to the stadium, saw the event. I think it ended about 2:45, 3 o'clock, walked back, and then drove home.
Right.
Because we had a birthday party that evening. So, it was a rough day, but it was definitely well worth it.
Yeah.
So, and anybody that's interested in going, that, maybe, you have a large family and it makes it financially difficult to attend a game, at least go to this. You will definitely have a great time.
Nice.
And hopefully, Chris, one of these years, you'll come through, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I definitely want to. I heard it's a good time. I mean, just seeing the videos that I did see, seemed like the fans was fired up. And one thing I heard, I think 805 was telling me, like, kind of how, like, in the beginning of the game or whatever, like how the Cowboys have like the players walk through the VIP area and all that stuff. Yeah, I heard that was pretty sweet. So
it was. I saw videos of like kids all excited, high-fiving the players. Oh, and another cool thing is that after the scrimmage was over, both sides of the team, the offense and defense, huddled up. And it seemed like they were just, you know, I guess talking, but then as soon as they were done, they broke the huddle, turned around, and started tossing T-shirts to the fans.
That's awesome.
That was so freaking cool.
That's awesome.
Man. Everybody was so excited, and then they stayed around, signed autographs, took pictures. You know, it wasn't like just on their way out. They literally were there for the fans.
That's sweet.
And that was awesome, man. I think I definitely commend Pete Carroll for the player fan interaction that he's creating. You know, he's definitely creating a vibe. He's creating an electricity and energy, you know, that's electrifying the Raider Nation, especially with the years that we've been having, you know, with the situations that we've been going through. You know, this is definitely something positive. And then, you know, with hearing these negative news coming out about, you know, Wilkins, Jakorian Bennett, you know, Lonnie Johnson, you know, these little things help. You know, it keeps it at least, you know, keeps us motivated to continue, because if it wasn't for stuff like this, man, I would be like, okay, here we go, we're starting now. Yeah, you know, the good old Raider curse, it's beginning. You know, we're kicking players out, we're losing players to injury. You know, we're losing players to trade, you know, so it's following the formula. Yeah. But, you know, at least we can see that they're trying to bring the fans and the organization together. But yeah, man, it was definitely a great event. I highly recommend it for anybody that wants to go next year. Take the family, take your friends, $5. Can't beat that price.
Can't beat it.
Anything else that you heard about the open practice? You know,
no, I mean, like I said, I just heard a lot of great things, and like you said, like once that injury happened, I did hear that it kind of changed the whole, you know, the morale of kind of how the practice was. You know, people were kind of, and then I heard Max was real. Kind of upset about being like a part of the injury and stuff like that, because you play hard, but you definitely don't want to, you know, injure someone on your own team, but you don't want to injure no one, period. You know, you don't want to affect people's ability to be able to take care of their family and stuff like that. So just a tough situation, but overall I heard it was, you know, a great event. You know, I heard the kids had a lot of fun, heard the fans had a lot of fun, so that's just awesome, man. I think that Pete Carroll effect is real. You know, he you know, his energy, you know, he's big on trying to make Vegas Raider town, you know, and it's an uphill battle, but I feel like he's trying to do the things to get the fans, you know, ignited. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it is, man. You know, I definitely felt it. My son felt it. Even my wife, she's a Raider fan, but not like us.
Yeah.
You know, she was excited as well. Yeah. You know, and that's I think what we need to get more Raider fans in those seats.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know, it's always every season it's an uphill battle getting that stadium blacked out. You know, but I think little actions like this definitely go a very, very long way.
Yeah.
All right. Our next topic, training camp news. I've been hearing some rumblings of who our third string running back is going to be. Issues with our center JPJ being moved. What else was there? There was some rumors about AOC looking good in practice, and is there anything pertinent that you've heard about any competition or any breakout players during training camp, Chris?
Yeah, so I think a few of our a few of our rookies are really starting to turn some heads. Dante Thornton, he's a guy I was very high on. In fact, in our mock drafts, a few of those times, I actually drafted him. So I've been big on him, at receiver. He looks like, he's going to be starting. He looks like the real deal. He looks more than just a fast, tall guy.
Right.
He's a guy that's getting, the full route tree together. He's going to be a problem. And it sounds like Gino's kind of taking him under his wing. So there's a lot of excitement about him, having somebody that's a deep threat on the other side of Jacoby. So that's exciting. That's very exciting. And then also our cornerback, Darian Porter, he's another guy we're hearing a lot about. But again, the cornerback position is a little tricky because you really don't know what you got until it's live bullets and, you're playing against, a top offense and stuff like that. Because, we always hear about corners doing well in camp and stuff like that. And then week one, they're getting torched. So I'm going to watch him closely, but I love what I'm hearing about him. He's working hard. He's a guy who has not played the position that long, but he has a lot of upside, a lot of physical gifts, and I'm excited to see him develop. So those two got me very excited. You brought up kind of like the offensive line, the center stuff. Very concerning for me.
Right.
JPJ is a guy that we drafted, and when we drafted him, he was the best center in all college football. He won the Remington. He was he was just the best center. That's the only way to put it. His rookie year, we had Andre James, so Andre stayed at center. We started JPJ played guard. Then at some point in the season, JPJ moved over to center, I think when James got hurt. And as soon as he got at center, we saw an immediate impact of him at center. Because the center is like the quarterback of the line, making they set the tone. We saw, the physicality of the line, all that changed immediately when he was at center. And JPJ, it was actually he was on Max's podcast, and he kind of talked about that whole thing. Because I think they were actually going to put someone else at center, and he was pissed off. I think he went to AP, was like, "No, I'm going to be the center. That's my job. I'm going to be the center." And AP was like, "All right, man, to go earn it," or he said something, and JP just played lights out for the rest of that year. So
that was his natural position, right?
That's his natural position. That's
right.
So coming into this year, I'm thinking like, man, we got some continuity at center. Our left tackle is solid. Our right tackle solid. Now our guards are a little shaky, but I was excited, at least about that part of the line. Like our quarterback of the line is set, and he's going to continue to get better. Where I'm thinking eventually JPJ has a talent to be, a potential, all pro at some point. He may be a couple years away, but I think his trajectory is going to be, that I think he could be that good. But they decide to move him to right guard, because last year when he was at guard, he was at left guard. So not only are they moving him to guard, they're moving him to the other guard. And the guy
does he have any experience on that side?
No.
That makes no sense.
And then the guy that they're moving to center is Jordan Meredith. Ask me how much experience he has playing center.
By the question, I'm assuming none.
So they're moving him to center. So now he's going to be the quarterback of our offensive line. He's never played it before. And then the guy that we have at left guard was our right guard last year, Dylan Parham. So we made 3 moves. So JPJ is going from center to right guard, where he hasn't played in the NFL. And then we got Parham, who was at right guard, going to left guard. Now Parham has played a little bit of both, but to me, Parham is probably like our, one of our worst. To me, I was thinking that we were going to draft someone to probably move on from him. But anyway, and then we got Meredith, who was at the left guard, moving to center, and he's never played it before. And again, I'm just a armchair GM. You know, I'm not, you know, I'm just a fan like everyone else. I'm trying my best to trust whether it's Chip Kelly or whoever.
Right.
But to me, that makes no sense. It makes no sense. And again, I'm gonna watch the line very closely because the offensive line, they have to gel. They have to be able to work together. And not only did they move JPJ, they weren't even like they had him with the second team right guard. They didn't even have him like he's not even listed as a for sure starter. He is battling in that position with Alex Kappa. So not only is he in that position, the fact that we moved him there and the guy who we overspent money as a free agent, Alex Kappa, is going to be on the bench. It's just the whole thing is just all messed up to me. You know, it just makes no logical sense. Again, I hope that I'm wrong. Again, I'm just a fan, but it just makes no sense. And the thing is, while we're over here playing around doing all these reindeer games, the Patriots with Mike Vrabel and them, and even as much as people want to call Josh McDaniels, Josh McDummy, they're going to be fired up for week one. They're not going to be playing no games. So I don't know. I'm worried about, you know, week one because we're playing around, man. You know, we're playing around. So we'll see what happens.
You know, I'm hoping that this is just like some type of psychological warfare to confuse the opposing teams, because obviously every team schemes for their opponent, see where they need to focus on. You know, may it be offensive line, maybe defensive line, wide receivers, whomever. You know, I'm hoping that this is the case here, where they're causing confusion, putting information out there that will confuse the opposing teams. Like, well, are they really starting that dude? Or are they going to move him? You know, that's the only logical explanation that I can think of. You know, because honestly, if something's working, if it's doing what it has to do, or he is doing what he has to do, why are you going to move him? If it ain't broke, why fix it?
And the thing is, and the worst part about it is, like, there's only so many limited reps in practice anyway. So it's like you want to get the most of it. So, like, you don't want to play around with that type of stuff. Like, you want to get your best guys out. Like, no other team in NFL is playing around like that. Like, they're getting ready for week one. They're getting their best guys out there. Right. And, like, JPJ is a young player. So it's not like he's, you know, this veteran. You know, he still has to learn this system because it's a brand new offensive coordinator. It's a brand new offensive line coach. It's a brand new quarterback he's going to be playing with.
So it's basically his second rookie year.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like I'm worried that we're stunting his growth. That I'm saying all that to say that I feel like, you know, there could be a chance that we stunt his growth because, again, he was trending to be a star, and he might even be a star at guard. Who knows? But it just makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. And week one, are those guys going to be ready? A lot of them are playing new positions. Are they going to be ready against a Mike Vrabel defense that's not going to play around? They're not going to play no games with us, man.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see, man. It's kind of difficult to, you know, obviously, like we were mentioning, the negatives and the positives of being a fan, you know, seeing what we see, hearing what we hear, you know, it becomes difficult at times, you know, and I'm personally trying not to make it more than what it is right now, because, you know, they haven't played it down yet.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just hoping it's just some smoke and mirrors, you know, something that they're trying to do to confuse the opposing teams and say, oh, look at this hand, but then, you know, this one does all the work. But I don't know, man. I'm trying to stay positive. You know, I'm looking at the lighter side. You know, I see you guys in the war room, and I see, your frustrations, and and you're not the only ones. I've watched other shows and other content creators, and they're feeling in a similar fashion. And that's what worries me when if you're just worried and everybody else is okay, then okay, you know what?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's maybe Chris's way of thinking.
Yeah.
Or if it's severe and everybody else is fine, then okay, maybe that's just Severe's way of thinking. But when it's continuous, and I'm seeing a trend of a lot of content creators and people talking ball, having the same concerns. It starts being like, wait a minute, I don't know as much as these guys, but I'm concerned and they're concerned. I'm like, should it be a thing? Is it a thing? But
and the thing is, like, stuff like that, and shout out to my brothers in the war room. Like, some people will watch our show and think that we are more negative than some other content creators,
right?
But that's because we're not. I mean, we're all very objective thinkers. We're not just going to be spoon fed something and
right.
And that's just not how we are. None of us work for the team, so we're not getting paid by the Raiders, so we're not going to sit here and sugarcoat and act like something is what it's not. We're fans that's passionate about the game. We love the game, and we just call it how we see it. We're not going to always be right, we're not going to always be wrong, but if people want just the fluffiness of the game, fluffiness of the Raiders, we're not going to be the right content creators for you. I'm definitely not going to be the right content creator for you. But I'm gonna always keep it authentic and real.
Yeah, like what's your tagline, Chris?
Yeah.
What's your Protect the Shield tagline?
Yeah, it's like what I say. I'm not, or I may not always be. What is it? My opinions may not always be. I forgot. I haven't said it for so long.
So angry. He's so angry. Forgot.
Yeah, you may not. Yeah, I forgot what it was. We'll got to cut that out, and I'll say it at some point. But yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's like we're always going to be authentic, man. That's just how it is.
Yeah, your views might not always be popular, but they will always be authentic.
And that's crazy that I forgot that, because I always say it when I do my own show, but I haven't done my own show for so long. That's crazy. Shout out to you, Dub.
Hey man, I got you, man. I got you. But it just shows that you're conscious about what you're saying, how you say it, and how you feel.
Yeah, for sure.
You're letting everybody know that's your point of view.
Absolutely.
This is how you see the game.
Absolutely.
They could accept it or not. It's their choice.
Yeah, and we're always going to keep it authentic, and again, and I've been hearing it especially a lot lately, because again, like we say, Dub, we've been fans for so long, we're done drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right.
And I even as early as last year, as recent last year, I was kind of drinking that Kool-Aid, but I'm done. Just like I've been saying with you, like, I'm done with the unearned optimism. They're going to have to earn it. I'm not just going to act like everything's great with our organization. Our organization is very dysfunctional. I mean, there's a lot of issues, and it's not just, over the last couple years. It's been like that for decades. For the last, the last 20 years or something, we've lost the second most games out of every team in the NFL. So it's like, as much as I wanted to say, hey, we're going to go to the playoffs this year. Hey, Pete's going to do, I can't say it until I see it, because, again, I love Pete, but am I excited about everything he's done this offseason? No. Has he done some great things? Yes, but they're going to have to earn it. I'm sorry.
Right. No, and that's the way it should be. That's the way everything is.
Yeah.
If you're in your daily life, work, if you want something, you have to earn it.
You gotta earn it, man.
And with us, the same thing. At least I can speak for you and myself. If they want us to jump on the hype train, they got to show it.
Give us something to get hyped about. Give us something to get hyped about, and not just preseason stuff.
Right.
Put it on the field. Week 1, put a beating on the Patriots.
Right.
Let's, give us something to be hyped about for that home opener, man.
But to clarify, we will always be Raider fans.
Oh, absolutely. That'll never change.
Yeah,
I mean, we went through the Jamarcus Russell era. We went through all that. You know, and we're gonna go through many more bad seasons. We'll go through some good seasons, but we're here to the end.
Yes, sir. You know, and that's never gonna change.
Yeah.
You know, we might be a little harsher on the team because of their outcome in the past.
Yeah.
But we will never ever not be Raider fans.
Oh,
that's not the case. So, Raider Nation, if you guys watch the War Room and you guys don't agree with what they say, understand that they're not saying it because they're against the team. They're just giving their point.
That's it. That's it.
You know, what they know, what they've experienced, because, you know, most of the guys there have, well, shit, between all you guys have over 30 years of experience.
Yeah.
In the game. So that in itself says a lot. You know? So let's just take it for what it is. You know, enjoy the Raider Nation, because, you know, we are still strong, no matter how great or bad the team is. You know, we are still a strong entity within the Raider organization and the Raider world. You know, that I don't think is ever going to change. But we just have to wait and see at this point. You know, once they start playing the real games, and hopefully these weird moves that are occurring are things that we're not seeing or we're not experiencing, that are, you know, going to be positive for the team, and not just let's see what happens. You know, let's try this out, see if it sticks.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But you know, it is what it is. Let's just hope for the best. So, and anything else for training camp, Chris? Any any players that you see are more than likely on their way out? You know, that they're not proving themselves, you know, to this regime.
You know, it's hard to say. You know, I think these preseason games are going to matter. You know, so I think it's going to be interesting to see who gets reps today and when do they get reps. You know, again, I know the starters are going to get some time in, but, you know, I definitely want to see who comes in next. You know, who comes in. You know, who's playing in a lot in the fourth quarter and things like that. So, it's gonna be exciting to see. You know, running back wise, you know, who comes in. You know, are we going to see, you know, Zamir White? Are we going to see Mostert? You know, how much is Sincere McCormick going to play? Dylan Lobb, you know, it's a lot of things to keep our eye out on. So we'll just see how it all shakes out.
Okay. Well, Raider Nation, for the next episode, we're definitely going to be talking about the first preseason. Get Chris's point of view on what he saw, what he liked, what he didn't like, you know, and then obviously I'll let you know what I saw, which is, you know, probably like, oh, look, he caught the ball, great.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, something, you know, hopefully there's more positivity we can talk about, you know, with the organization, because obviously right now we really can't. We're everything is speculative, nothing is concrete, you know. So it's just how we're feeling, and I think it's because of years of frustration, but, you know, let's keep the faith and let's continue to support our team.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
How the saying goes, win, lose, or tie, ready till I die.
For sure.
Well, finally, we're going to talk about, you know, just a brief news. I don't know if you guys have heard, the ex voice of the Raiders, Greg Papa, there was a news report that he is diagnosed with cancer. Unfortunately, he is currently the voice of the 49ers. After the Raiders went to Vegas, you know, I guess he was let go and the 49ers picked him up. But, you know, he held a very, very big part in Raider history in Oakland, you know, as the voice. And everybody, of course, knows his famous touchdown chant, touchdown Raiders.
Winding up right over the A-gap now. The Raiders double team and Dominican Sue. Carr going to throw a bob. Deep for the post there for Johnny. Holds in. Caught! Touchdown! Raiders! synth inside, Crabtree in the middle, Seth Roberts outside, Amari Cooper, one out a moment, P.J. Williams, Carr in the gun. Carr looks left, throws, caught, Seth Roberts diving for the end zone! Touchdown! Raiders!
They're going for two, guys.
That I will never forget, and I just want to let Greg Papa know that we're thinking about him, we're praying for him. Hopefully he recovers quickly and he gets through this. And even though he's the voice of the 49ers, he's still a human being.
Yeah.
And he doesn't deserve to have to go through something like this. So Greg Papa, thoughts and prayers with you, and I hope you get well soon. Other than that, that is basically our show this week. I do want to invite all of you for, if you guys are attending the home opener in Las Vegas, the War Room, which is Chris, 805, and Severe, we're going to be hosting, along with a lot of other super fans, booster clubs, and content creators, a meetup at Tap and Ash Social Club in the Arts District in Las Vegas on September 13th. It's a really cool cigar lounge, full bar, 3 rooms. There's a patio and two lounges. Really cool spot. We wanted to do this because we want to bring the Raider Nation together to hang out, to interact. Because that, to me, I think it's our strongest bond within the Raider Nation is each other.
Yeah.
Even though the team might not be producing as we would hope and like, but we know that the Raider Nation is definitely strong, and we're definitely here for each other. So, Chris, anything you want to add?
Yeah, man, it's just gonna be a good time, man. If you guys are in the area, come hang out. I did a show, was it last year or the year before, at Tap and Ash. Very good place, man. Very dope place, dope vibe. Good drinks. You're talking about there those Manhattans, and it was some good drinks. And actually, when I was there, it was later in the night, so they actually had like some live music and stuff. So it was just a real dope vibe, man. And great cigar selection. I know you are the you know your cigars, man. So hopefully when we get closer to there, you can even probably enlighten us for some more, even though you have a great show specific about cigars. But even kind of tell everybody what your favorite one is, or give some people some suggestions on what to get when we go there for the meet and greet. So it's just gonna be a good time, man. All of us gonna be there, just fellowshipping and just enjoying each other's time, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be right now. I'm confirming the advertisement with Tap and Ash, because obviously I want them to be on board with everything that we're promoting. Once they give us the okay, we're going to start shooting it out on social media. It's going to have all the information, address, everything. So Raider Nation, if you're going to be in Vegas for the home opener, please join us. It's going to be a great time. Come talk to Chris. Let him know your side of Raider football. Because Chris loves the dialogue, loves to interact.
I do.
And that's what it's all about. It's communication. That's what we're doing here. We're communicating.
Absolutely.
And if we can do it live with a couple of drinks, a couple of cigars, it makes it even more live. So hope to see you there. Also, before I forget, we're Severe, myself, and again, a lot of Southern California booster clubs, content creators, and super fans. We're going to get together for the season opener, the game against the Patriots, here in Hawthorne, California. It's the bar is called the Dank Crypto Bar. It's actually owned by one of Severe's good friends. He actually allowed us to do the interview when Severe was on the Raider Nation roll call, and it was a really cool spot. So they welcomed us in to do a watch party. So it's going to be for the first game of the season against the Patriots. It's an early game, so the door's going to open at 9. Flyers are already out on social media. If you guys have any questions, hit us up, and we'll get you any information. We're going to be having a couple of specials for that event. Anybody wearing a Raider jersey are going to get draft beers for $5 all day, as long as you're wearing a Raider jersey. And then for every touchdown that the Raiders score, Severe and I are going to buy everybody in there a shot. So I'm hoping that it, obviously I want them to score a lot of touchdowns, but based on the amount of alcohol I'm taking, which is going to be probably this bad boy right here.
Okay.
So the shots are going to be flowing because the Raiders are going to be scoring some touchdowns.
Love it.
So it's going to be a good time. We're going to be chilling. Nothing out of the ordinary. Again, free of charge. Everything we do, we try to make it to where it's in the budget. So more than likely free.
Yeah.
So join us if you can, if you want to hang out with the Raider Nation. That's going to be, again, the home season opener, against the Patriots. It's going to be, I think, a 10:15 kickoff. More information, hit us up on social media. Anything else you have to add, Chris?
No, man, I'm just excited, man. Just make sure you guys, definitely check me out on Protect the Shield podcast. Just been grinding. Trying to deliver good content. Again, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but if you are a fan that likes hearing objective takes and stuff like that, definitely check me out, check my brothers out at the War Room, and definitely continue to get this show out. Dub does a great job. His channel is absolutely fire. We're trying our best to get to pump his channel up. He works hard, has great content. He's out in the community, and he just does great work. So all Raider fans, man, we got to get together and continue to big him up.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Again, War Room, check it out. Again, if you don't agree, tap in. They go live. They allow just like, subscribe, and you can interact with them. If you don't agree with something, let them know. Start the dialogue. This is how communication works. It's not about I'm right, you're wrong.
Exactly.
It's why do you think that way?
Yeah.
Let me try and understand what you're saying.
Yeah, state your claim.
That's the way dialogue works. Exactly. It's not like because I don't consider myself being right all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't consider myself being wrong all the time.
Right.
But I like to learn from other individuals. I like to see the way they think. Like, because Chris and I don't always agree.
Right. And that's
but
okay.
when we don't agree, we agree to disagree.
Exactly.
And that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be negative, especially because at the end of the day, we're all one family. We're the Raider Nation.
Absolutely.
So again, Raider Nation, with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. I personally have a lot of content coming out. I have some Stogie Nation episodes coming out. I interviewed the owner of Every Day is Cigar Day. It's a Nicaraguan cigar company. That's coming out. I did a review with my boy, Legacy of the Shield. We did a cigar review. I'm going to be interviewing MC Raider again, but this time not as a content creator, but as a comedian, because MC Raider's been blowing up.
Killing it, man.
I'm going to sit down with them. We're going to smoke a stick, talk about his comedy career, and then I'm going to follow him to the Comedy Store in Hollywood, where he's going to be performing. For those of you who don't know about the Comedy Store, that's like the mecca of comedy in Hollywood. So we're going to go there, get that recorded, and then also just confirmed yesterday, I'm going to be doing a cigar review and interview with none other than the Violator from the Black Hole.
Nice.
We set it up already. We got a cigar lounge we're going to meet. It's probably going to come out in early September.
Nice.
So be on the lookout for that, and of course, much more content of our super fans, booster clubs, businesses, and content creators. So just keep watching, like, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Everything helps. Let the Raider Nation know, please. Spread the word. Just share it if you can. There's a little button at the bottom that says share it. Throw it on your social media. Let the Raider Nation know what we're doing, because at the end of the day, Raider Nation, like I always say, everything we do is for the nation, by the nation. Peace.